Come on, add me to the. There we go. Wow, technology and me are not getting along today. Wow, I apologize, everyone. We use this platform, StreamYard, and apparently we're breaking it today. So we broke it. That's what happens when you put a Marine in charge of trying to fix anything, and that's why we're going to bring on my Air Force buddy here. Air Force guys always clean up the messes the Marines make. It's a true statement. Anyone that knows my branch knows that that's what we have the Air Force for. I'm excited about our guest. Obviously, love vets. As we all know, we have our military Mondays every Monday, but I know today's Thursday, so this is Throwdown Thursday. As everyone's probably figured out, that's why we call it Throwdown Thursday. So our next guest is multi-talented. Is that a word? Can I say multi-talented? Does multi-talented make sense? Well, he's multi-talented to me. He not only was in law enforcement, but was also in the Air Force, like I said, retired from the Air Force, and then joined law enforcement in Oklahoma, where he joined the SWAT team and retired. And now he's not acting. He is burning up the charts, well, singing every kind of music under the sun. I love it when he sings Johnny Cash. But we have Philip Paz joining us today. I'm excited to have a fellow vet on, huge supporter in backing the boys in blue, and to hear him sing and, of course, have a lovely conversation in between. Yeah, those are the important things we need to do. But we have a challenge for everybody who's tuning in today. See, to have Phil sing, which I know everybody wants to hear, we need some help. See, we're growing, and our YouTube isn't where we want it to be. So we think it's only fair, Phil's going to sing. Maybe we could get some people to give us some love and smash that subscribe button on our YouTube page and give us a follow on our Facebook, just because, we love having fans too, and we love Phil's fans. So I'll just make my cute pouty face and see if it works. It's fine if it doesn't. It usually doesn't. My wife always tells me to stop with that, but it's a good try. So without further ado, I'm going to drop our guest. Woo! It's Thursday. 1 cup of coffee. This is me. So we're going to bring on our next guest right now. There's Phil. Well, wait, there's Phil. Phil.
Hey. How's it going, everybody? Hey, listen, real quick, I want to start off by saying, hey, it's like Eric said, if you would do me a favor, I'm going to ask all my fans and all my followers, go to Eric's Facebook page, To The Point with Eric Mitchell. Give him a like. Also go to his YouTube channel and give him a like there as well. Subscribe and follow. He's doing good work.
Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. Wow, I feel special now. For that. How you doing, my friend? It's good to see you. I always love a fellow veteran, even though, I always give my Air Force guys a hard time. We have a good friend of our show named Matt Kuchera, fellow Air Force.
Yeah.
He was one of those DI people. Well, we call them drill instructors in the Corps,
right?
And the Army calls them drill sergeant. And the Air Force, you guys, I don't even know what you guys call them. You're like guy who yells at you or something like that.
Yeah, so, technical instructors, TIs, whatever. Yeah.
There you go. Technical instructor. Just sounds. I love the Air Force because it's like you're in the military, but we're gonna give job titles that sound like something you'll hear when you get out. Because you never hear anybody with like, "What did you do in the Marine Corps?" You're like, "I was in the infantry." What was your rank? And you're like, "Oh crap, nobody cares." I remember going to job interviews, and that's why I think I went into law enforcement, because I could understand rank structure so well. Because when I went to corporate America, it was so funny because they're like, "What does this mean? What is MOS?" I'm like, military occupational skill. They're like, "What have you been doing your whole life?" I'm like, I don't know. I always wanted to say the funny line, like killing bad.
Right. I have my brother, my younger brother. He was in the Marines. My dad was a lifer Air Force guy. My brother joined the Marines, so I kind of understand, and I always gave him a hard time saying, how are you going to get a job doing this? I mean, and yelling at people. How's that going to transfer over into the civilian world? So, but he did very well at the post office for a long time. So, yeah, he's doing good. But yeah, I love my Marine veteran buddies and my veteran buddies in general. So yeah, that's great.
But we're pretty good people. We think we're equal, and we can have those fun conversations together. But we do tease our Air Force companions quite often.
I know. Yeah, I know. That's all right. That's understandable.
So, funny note before we started, did you see, number one, there's a show on Netflix called Space Force, right? With Steve Carell?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear that that the government might not be able to call Space Force because Netflix owns the rights to the name, because
Oh my
they
gosh.
had no idea they were actually going to build a Space Force, which still has a Marine makes me laugh that we actually have something called Space Force.
Yeah, there's the jokes abound on that one. Yeah.
I'm like, what are we guarding up there? I mean, who's going up there? I know, in Aliens, it was
Exactly.
always, they had Marines in the air. So, it was one of our
Right.
favorite things.
Yeah.
We'll see. But so let me ask you this. So you retire from the Air Force, you go into law enforcement. Thank you for that, my friend.
Mhm.
And then somewhere along the line, you become an actor and you're singing all the time, ridiculously good at singing. Like it's like turning on your Facebook page is equal to, I guess, my older version of TikTok. My teenagers tell me if you turned on TikTok, you could become addicted to TikTok. But that's like my older version of that, because I guess, you have to be like 18 to go on TikTok. And I think I'm way too old to go on TikTok.
Yeah,
I don't understand. Everybody's dancing. So you have a ridiculously good voice. So what got you into singing? I mean, have you always been singing? Is that something you were doing in the patrol car?
yeah, all the time. Just a quick bio of me. I went into the Air Force in 1979. I joined the United States Air Force Reserves. I spent 24 total years, went all over the world, had a great time. And of course, my police career and my Air Force Reserve career overlapped. I was a security policeman in the Air Force. I joined the police department in 1991, and where I retired in just 2 months ago in April. So almost 40 years of service, and I enjoyed it immensely. All I ever wanted to do is help people, and I feel like I did that. But yeah, as far as singing, I've always, when I was a little kid, I just run around the house, up and down the street, in church. We went to church every Sunday, every Wednesday night, and singing in church. Later on, I did a few shows around Oklahoma City, different venues, and I've just always been a singer, man. I just love it. I love it to death.
Oh, that's awesome. Sorry, I'm messing with audio right now, so bear with me. There we go. We should be fine again. It's what happens when I touch things. See, I told you, you're not, again, I'm in here just like
smash.
You ever see that movie Zoolander, where Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller they break into what's Ben Stiller's father's character in the movie, and they're banging the computer? Sometimes I think that's me, like a Neanderthal, just jumping up and down trying to make the computer work. I'm like, why aren't you doing what you're told to do? Just
Exactly.
do.
Yeah.
Like, why is there an echo? But anyways, that's what I get. So anyways, great story on how you came up with singing. I mean, I wish I could sing. I can sing cadence. That's about the only thing that you ever want to hear me sing. Or Queen when I'm in my car with my kids. We love my kids. I mean, I gotta say, a lot of kids in this generation, and my kids, for age-wise, anybody's curious, my daughter's 15, will be 16 in a couple months, and my son is 13. So it's like a rock concert in our house almost every day. And it's
That's
funny
awesome.
to listen to their music. See, my father went to school with Stevie Nicks, so we have a huge love of like Fleetwood Mac. So you'll hear Fleetwood Mac and some like Queen from both rooms, and then they'll see their father's love of the great Billy Joel, which goes to both rooms.
All right.
And then it kind of separates, because I also love the Beastie Boys, because I love all forms of music. I mean, somebody asked me the other day. So it was my wife when we first got married. We've been married 16 years. And when we first got together, she goes, how can you go from listening to hardcore rap to just breaking out a George Strait song? I'm like, welcome to being in the military. That's the Marine.
Exactly.
I mean, that's almost every branch, right? You go into an enlisted club, or you hang out with the troops, and you get to know, like, I've learned so much about music with my time in the military, and then getting into law enforcement. Same thing. It's like, I love music. I mean, Garth Brooks is one of my like favorites, but Johnny Cash, I'm from Folsom, California, so it makes sense to love the man who sang a song about our town. I got to meet his son. His son was pretty awesome. So it was pretty cool. I was fanboying over Johnny Cash's son, which is just He talks like his dad. He looks nothing like his father, but he talks exactly like his dad. You're just like, this is like cool. Just imagine that's what it would be like.
He's not named Sue, is he?
No, thank God. No. He's Johnny Carter Cash. Yeah, he's Johnny Carter Cash.
Oh, okay. Yeah, one of my favorite songs, Boy Named Sue. But I love Johnny Cash. I'm a huge Johnny Cash. I'm the same way, man. I love all kinds of music. I mean, I think actually I'm better with soul, and I love soul, the Motown sound, all that stuff, Marvin Gaye, all of that, man. And I just really love soul. But I also love a lot of country. I sing a lot of country. In fact, I'll do another cover of Johnny Cash. I'll do Walk the Line and post it for you. But yeah, I love all kinds of music. And I think you're going to ask how I got into acting.
That was the next one.
Yeah, my sons, who are also musicians, and one of my sons, he's in videography, photography, all this kind of different stuff, and that's how he makes his living. And he bought a new camera one day, and he came to the house, and he was testing it out. And he said, "Hey, Dad, can we go outside and let me take some video of you?" So I said, "Yeah." We go out there, and I'm walking around. He's taking video of me, testing out his new camera. And he said, "Hey, say a few words." I said, "What do you want me to say?" He goes, "I don't care. Just say anything." I said, "Well, hang on a second." So I had this idea. I went in the house. I wrote this 5-minute monologue about a soldier who came back from, the war, having some issues. And I did about a 5-minute monologue that I just kind of came up off the top of my head and wrote down. And we're watching it, and he goes, that's not really too bad. He said, "You need to take some acting classes." I said, "I do?" And he said, "Yeah." So that Christmas, a couple of months later, he bought me acting classes at a local acting, the Actor Factory in Norman, Oklahoma. June 3rd, 2012 was my first acting class. And when I did that and I got in front of the camera, I was hooked. I was hooked ever since. Started making contacts with actors and casting directors and directors, producers, and it just kind of went from there. I've done quite a few local small indie stuff. I've also done some a little bigger stuff. I haven't been in anything huge. I've got a national commercial that played for several months, USAA commercial. That was a really good project. That was my first national project. I was really proud of. And, with the coronavirus stuff, the industry is pretty much it shut down, like a lot of facets of the society in the United States, everything shut down. So really, I've used this time being retired from the police department and being in quarantine, practicing my singing, practicing my acting, especially. And I have kind of a weird training for my acting. I'll go out in my man cave, I'll turn on my TV, find a show on Netflix, play it. When I see it, when they do a scene, I pause it, and then I do the scene. And so I do this, for hour at a time or so. So I'm trying to keep my acting skills sharp. Is that going to do it? I don't know, but I feel like I'm training, So yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell how I got involved in that stuff. My agent is Patty Gill out of Atlanta. Gill Talent is one of the premier talent organizations in that region. She represents me in Atlanta, New York City, Chicago, and good people. I got to give a shout out to Patty Gill and everybody else down there. So great people.
Oh, that's awesome. It's always good to give the shout out to the people who do a lot of the hard work out there. People don't get how hard the agent life is. It's especially during this time. I mean, for anything. So I've heard, did you do a Doritos commercial?
Yeah, a few years back, it was actually for a contest. They were doing, I had a contest and if you won this contest, if you made the best Dorito commercial and it was chosen, then they played it on during the Super Bowl, and you won some other prizes and whatnot. So yeah, we made a heck of a Dorito commercial. It's awesome. It's awesome. We didn't win, unfortunately, but there was a lot of stiff competition, but yeah, it was really good. I got to show some of my dance moves while I was wearing pajamas, but you can see that on my YouTube page if you want to go to my YouTube page.
I love it. It's always good. It's cool that you talk about USAA and you were in that. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge fan of USAA. It's simply they're the best. We do all of our work with them. I mean, if they were a business bank, our business would be there. That's how much we love USAA. Just
Yes.
simply fantastic. Everybody's like,
Yep.
great. Now this is going to turn into a USAA. How great it is. You're right. It is. That's what you do.
Hey, but hey, we're veterans. We like to look out for other veterans, and that's that's just part of our network. We just like to. So that's awesome. But speaking of my
club, right?
Yeah, exactly. If I could give a little promo, you guys, everyone listening, and if you my song Crazy Love, which is my first original song, that it's available on YouTube, on iTunes. A lot of people don't have iTunes, and so I uploaded it to my YouTube channel last night. So if anybody wants to, they can go to my YouTube channel, Philip Paz on YouTube, and you can watch Crazy Love as many times as you want. So go check it out. I love all the support. Subscribe to my channel. Also, you guys can follow me on Instagram, Philip Paz Actor. Also on Twitter, at The Messenger is the name of my handle on Twitter. So yeah, you guys go check my stuff out, and I appreciate all the support. I really, really do.
I love having guests that plug their YouTube subscribers like we do, because we're like, hey, go subscribe to our page. Hey, go subscribe to YouTube. YouTube's so awesome. I mean, we're going to subscribe and follow you. We'll actually put us, when we're done here, I'm going to move your channel over to our channel partners. So when people go on there, they see you. We do that with a lot of our guests that have YouTube channels. Some don't.
Sweet.
So we'll put you on there so people go on. Number one, they'll find you from this episode. So remember, if you miss this, or you want to watch this over and over again and you don't want to have to do it on Facebook, if you go subscribe to our YouTube page, which so many of you guys are doing, so we're thankful. But you can always find Phil singing there. So do you want to sing? I know we're getting requests. I'm looking at these comments, and boy, people sound like they want you to sing. And I don't think they want to do that with my bad voice. I'll just sit here. I'll give you the whole screen, and I'll just sit here quietly and listen like everyone else, if that's what you want to do, my friend, or we can keep asking questions. But you do whatever you want, my friend. That's why we had you on. You have a wonderful voice. Clearly, your fans have showed up, so I want to make sure that they get what that's what we do around here.
I can. So, trying to get my song out there, obviously. So I'll start off with
start with yours. Start with yours, and then do you want to take requests, or do you just want to go with what you have? It's your choice, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few planned out, and I'll sing to it. I'm not going to sing full songs. I'll just sing like a medley of a few lines of each, and we'll go from there.
If you're doing full songs, I'm really impressed. You're like, I'm not getting paid enough to do these shows where you want me to do full songs. He's up there like Garth, like running the stage. That's what we're doing. We have you doing the full Garth hustle through Central Park. That's what we're doing. 3 hours a day. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the stage. I'll give you a quick intro so everybody knows. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to bring to the stage a United States Air Force veteran and proud retired police officer, Mr. Philip Paz. There you go, my friend. Stage is yours.
Thanks. Let's see, how about a little bit of Crazy Love? and I sing usually on these shows. I do a cappella, so bear with me. I want to hold you in my arms and feel you close to me. I want to stay with you tonight, baby, and be your fantasy. Girl, you know I need your love. I need it like I need to breathe. But you don't want to do none of that, baby. All you want to do is give me crazy love, crazy love. All you want to do is give me crazy love, crazy love, crazy love. All you want to do is give me crazy love. How about a little Brad Paisley? I put a Brad Paisley song on Facebook today, so go check it out. She put him out like the burning end of a midnight cigarette. She broke his heart. He spent his whole life trying to forget. We watched him drink his pain away a little at a time. But he could never get drunk enough to get her off his mind. Until the night he put the bottle to his head and he pulled the trigger. And he finally drank away her memory. Yeah. How about a little Elvis Presley? Oh, well, the bless of my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm itching like a man on a fuzzy tree. I'm itching like a man on a fuzzy tree. Oh, my friends say I'm acting wild as a bug. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm all shook up. Let's do a little Willie Nelson. In the twilight glow, I see them, blue eyes crying in the rain. When we kissed goodbye and parted, I knew we'd never meet again. And love is like a dying ember. Only memories remain. Through the ages, I'll remember blue eyes crying in the rain. So I'll wrap it up with one that I get requests for all the time, a lot, Little Tennessee Whiskey. I used to spend my nights out in a bar room. Liquor was the only love I've ever known. But you rescued me from reaching for the bottom, and you brought me back from being too far gone. Now you're as smooth, oh, as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy, baby. And honey, I stay stoned on your love all the time.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you're getting a standing O for me. There we go. And the goose shirt.
Yeah, man. Hey, are you excited about the new Top Gun movie coming out?
I am. They moved it back though, which I'm heartbroken, but I get it. There's no movie theaters, but we were so excited for July to get here because that's when it was supposed to come out, and
right,
I have to wait long. But I can't. I'm excited. I mean, my kids got me this shirt, my goose shirt, just to be. I'm always quoting that movie. Like, I just don't know why. I just love that movie. Even the soundtrack is good. Like, that's the first movie I could think of that actually has a great soundtrack to go with it. I mean,
yeah.
Kenny Loggins, and, just,
Danger Zone, man, Danger Zone. What's not to love about that? Yeah.
So I got a funny story for you, and I'm sure people here would love to hear my not so funny story to anybody who probably isn't a Top Gun fan. So I enlisted in the Marine Corps a few years after you probably retired from the police. No, just kidding. I went into the Marine Corps.
I went
into the Corps in 1994. So I ended up going to the School of Infantry in Camp Pendleton, California. So one of the things I did was find Top Gun, right? Because as anybody who grew up watching that movie, that's what you wanted to do. So we got this idea on a weekend pass, a weekend liberty, to go play volleyball, find the volleyball pit and do that reenactment. And we did. Now, this is before cell phones, but there was like 6 of us, and we're all rocking, shirts off, jeans, wearing our dog tags, which, as you know, most of us don't wear those things off a base. I mean, some of us do because they think it's jewelry, but it's not. And, we did that scene. And it's funny. So a buddy of mine's a reporter. So years later, fast forward to 2-3 years ago, General Mattis, at the time he was SecDef, he was flying around. He was flying for for the summit, the North Korea summit, the first one when President Trump met with North Korea. Right. And on their way there, Mattis wanted a troop, meet with some of the troops. So they did a refuel at Miramar, which is Top Gun. And they got out, and my buddy's a Marine, and he's a reporter with them. He's like, "Hey, sir, you want to go a volleyball pit?" And they searched around. They built something on it. Now the volleyball pit does not exist anymore. But he said it was Mattis's face, who's very stoic, right? Very, mad dog, chaos 6 that the man is. And then he started smirking because he's like, "Hey, do you want to go play some volleyball for an hour, sir? We'll go find the pit. You could just, it's just funny because you can just imagine a very stoic man,
right?
They call him the warrior monk for a reason. Yeah. But we talk about that movie, so you're right. I actually look forward to that for a good movie. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna make Tom Cruise a fighter pilot. I guess he's an instructor because the dude's got to be. I mean,
I think he's my age. He's got to be 58-ish, 55, 56, something like that.
Yeah. And a man never ages. Did you notice that? Like, he doesn't age at all. Like,
right. Yeah, he's good. But, speaking of military and Top Gun and everything, back in the day, all these military guys, of course, they rip things like that apart. And I watched the trailer just a little bit ago, and it shows Tom Cruise, again, on a military base on that speedy motorcycle with no helmet, no helmet whatsoever, no reflective vest. Anybody who's in the military knows how wrong that is.
oh yeah, like the MPs would pull that guy off first. They'll be like, "Hold on, that's an easy ticket for our MPs." They like to enforce the rules. They've always enforced the rules. But I have so many stories about trying to bring people back onto base in interesting conditions, especially fellow Marines. I mean, I've been to the gate and picked up brother Marines who I was like, man, they tried to trunk. That's how loyal we are. We bring our people back. We may not follow the rules to bring our people back to base.
Right.
I've seen my fair share of United States Marines out of trunks, and it's like, yes, it's like we feel like we're crossing the border illegally. It's our way of doing like breaking onto a Marine Corps base. Supposed to be at. I always love it when they look at us. We all look like me still today. White walls, high and tight, and these folks are just like, do you like? We had one guy forget his ID card. We're like, really? Do we look like we don't believe we're high and tight, young, look like little infants? You can see one of my infancy photos today on my Instagram. I did a military throwback today, and so if you're curious, I know you have a lot of followers. Head over to my Instagram. It's Eric L. Mitchell on Instagram. Very simple. Okay. So you can check that out. So you can see me as I don't know what I was doing in that photo. I should probably make fun of myself. It's embarrassing. But it is true. So what are some of your favorite military movies? Let's talk about. I know because you're in the Air Force, so I always have to pick. You guys brought us the Iron Eagle franchise. Remember that?
Yeah. When I was growing up, dude, it was like D-Day, the movie D-Day, Sands of Iwo Jima, all those kind of movies. And I almost went into the Marines because when I was a kid, I used to always read the books, The Battle at Tarawa, Iwo Jima. I read all those books when I was a kid, and I just knew I was going in the Marines. My dad talked me out of it and talked me into going into the Air Force. He said, look, you go in the Air Force and they will take care of you. And, he was right. He was right. Five-star chow halls and pretty much the best equipment. So yeah, he was right. But of course, the Marines have the tradition, and I've always been drawn. But anyway, those are the kind of movies that I like. I like the ground pounders, the grunts, and what was that movie that just came out in 1917? Man, that was a great movie. I love that movie. So yeah, those are the kind of movies I like. I like the I can't think of any Air Force. Some of them, like some of the Air Force movies, like the guys that I forget the name of it. I want to say Ethan Hawke played a drone operator, and there have been a couple of movies about drone operators that just at the end of it you go, man, that's a downer. I didn't enjoy that at all.
Yeah. I think I watched that movie. I was like, oh my God, how horrible. I mean, it's just like you're sitting here and you feel like all the guilt. That's why I like the movies you mentioned. I mean, obviously the Seance of Iwo Jima, anything D-Day. I know D-Day just actually passed the other day. So I sat there and we actually turned on Band of Brothers, which was on HBO, which I think is a fabulous series. I mean, talk about top-notch acting, and I love World War II. I mean, that is our greatest generation, hands down.
Right.
I love what those folks did for our country. I mean, I'm sure they have their opinions nowadays, but if they could speak from the grave, they would.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great generation. So those are the kind of movies I like, and but I also am a huge zombie movie fanatic, and
let's talk about this. I love this. Let's talk about zombies. I love it.
And on Netflix, I do a search and I hit zombie, and all these movies that you've never heard of before, like from different countries, not even English speaking. And I'm watching one right now called Train to Busan. It's from Korea, and probably one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen in my life. I love it. Train to Busan, check it out. It's really good. It's really good. And what always gets me is, some of the movies you have your fast moving zombies and you have your slow moving zombies. And it's like, okay, so if I was going to be attacked by zombies, would I want the slow movers or the fast movers? Because the fast movers, they can run way faster than their victims, and they gang up on you really, really hard. And the slow movers, the slow movers, zombie movies are kind of boring because, here comes the zombies. There's really no sense of urgency to defend yourself or get away because they're just barely shuffling. And, if I'm attacked during the zombie apocalypse, I hope it's the slow movers. But, that's just me.
You're right. I always am weirded out about the fast zombies. The zombies that can sprint, they scare me. Because they don't. It's not like they're gonna die from running. They're already dead. I like the slow movers. I agree because I see that. Like I watch shows where they're slow movers. I'm like, I can get away. This is so easy. You could. Like you just know they're coming. You're like target all of them if you have the weapons to do it. So, do you mind doing some Q&A, Phil? We're getting some questions in here. Cool. So. First one we have, I'm just gonna, if I can, I'm trying to figure out using technology. So we had a question of what you did in the Air Force.
I was they changed the name several times, but started off as a security policeman. Then they changed it to, eventually changed it to security forces. We were also weapons system security, all kinds of different name changes. But basically, it's like the military police in the Air Force. So I was, I manned the gates. I did patrol in a Air Force police car, and so I was a security policeman.
Okay, so every time I get an MP on the show, I have to ask my favorite thing. I can probably guess what your biggest complaint was as an MP at the game. Are you ready for me to guess?
Yeah.
Is the people who drive their spouse's car with the sticker on the front and think they also are said rank? I know I've had to guard the gate before, and I had somebody come through, and they were like, "My husband is the colonel." And I'm like, "We saluted your car. That's what we're required to do." Where it's like, cute, but like she corrected a PFC who was behind me, like stopped her car because we properly saluted. Like if you watch the video, we did our job. And I guess she was a modern day Karen, as they call them nowadays. Because she literally stopped because there was like a PFC. He was not in line of sight. He was actually like moving a traffic cone to be exact. So he wasn't guarding the gate. And she pulled up like she was the base CG and like stopped her car, got out of the car. And we turned around. We're like, he's not even supposed to salute. He's not required. He's not even in line of sight. He was doing his job. He had his little yellow safety vest on. So I don't know if you have any MP stories that you'd like to share, but I know those are the ones from experiences when we had to assist gates that we ran into, and that I've heard my friends have complained over and over again that they're like, we got yelled at a lot. Karens aren't anything new.
I encountered the exact same thing. And, you know, some of the bases, was it Warner Robins Air Force Base? I was manning the gate one morning, and Warner Robins is huge. Many civilians, tens of thousands of civilians, you know, Air Force, whoever. And that's one of the busiest gates probably in the world. And yeah, you got all these cars streaming through, and you're waving people through, and, you know, and I actually had, and this happened several times, officers, you know, yeah, they get a salute. I understand that, but, you know, I'm also dealing with 10,000 cars that would stop, back all the way up to where I was at, and wait and demand their salute. I'm like, hey, there you go, sir. Have a great day. I mean, you know, whatever you need, I will give it to you. But yeah, I saw that kind of stuff all the time. Yeah.
So we have another question. This is from Brenda. I'll throw it on the screen here. She says, who started your love for singing? Who inspired you? Thank you, Brenda, for your question.
Yeah, I mean, well, when I was a little bitty kid, my dad, he played the guitar and he sang. He was, you know, my dad was Mexican American, and he sang, you know, all the Spanish songs and the mariachi type stuff. And I remember being a little bitty tiny kid, 3 or 4 years old, and he would let me strum the strings while he would, you know, work the chords and sing songs. And you know, watching my mom, looking up at her while we were in church, listening to her sing. I guess that was probably my earliest influences.
That's awesome. I wish somebody gave me the gift of singing, but no one in my family has. And my wife has the best voice. I mean, but she sings Bon Jovi songs, so that's
shot through the heart, and you're to blame, honey. You give love a bad name. I love Bon Jovi, man.
There we go. She likes that one that they used in the Deadliest, Shot Down, and A Blaze of Glory. That song.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So apparently you are getting song requests too. Just so you, there's one for when a man loves a woman. I'm like, are you still? I'm like, he's not a jukebox, people.
I'm one of those guys. I know a couple of lines out of almost every song, but to sing a song usually all the way through, I got to have the words in front of me. But yeah. When a man loves a woman, he can't think of nothing else. Leave his best friend if he put her down. That's all the words I can think of right now.
That works. I was sitting here going, right when you started singing, I was singing. It's not sinking. Started sinking.
Oh yeah, I went in the Navy.
Yeah, you're not. You're in the Air Force. I love it when people get our branches wrong, because I'm always correcting people. And as you know, Marines, we do not like being called soldiers. We're really sensitive of that, which is weird. It's like our kryptonite. You call us one of soldiers, and we fall to the ground and start convulsing. It's really weird that we do it. But I'm like, no, it's called Trooper Marine. Do not call me soldier. Not in the Army. Right. Nobody messes up the Air Force. I think everybody like, I always tell people to ask me about the Air Force. So I got a funny story before you go. So my stepson wanted to go talk to recruiters, and he's like, I want to join the Marine Corps. And I'm like, no, you don't. and I'm proud to be a Marine. I'm like, no, you don't. He's like, why? And I'm like, ask me the question. And we're sitting here in front of a Marine recruiter. And I'm like, you don't want to join this branch. The recruiter's like, tell him why you're saying that. And I'm like, well, I'm saying that because after learning and seeing the experience of going on a few Air Force bases in my life, especially when I went to Okinawa on 2 deployments. So we went to Kadena. And that changed my life, because you guys have it so good. It was like, what? Well, I'm in the wrong branch. So I took him over to the Air Force. I walked in and I wanted to enlist again in my 40s. It was like, I walked in, it was just like Shangri-La in the recruiting office. It was like canaries flying around. It was a great life. I was like, dude, this is what you want to do. This is why you want to do this. You want to join the Air Force, join the Air Force. He really wanted to go green on the green side. He ended up not moving forward with joining at all, but it just made me laugh just going through the experience. And every time I tell all my Air Force buddies that, I have a lot of friends who got out of the Army and went to the Air Force. I know a lot of Marines that have gone into the Air Force too. Everybody goes to the Air Force because we know how good it is. So you guys have it good. So we only pick on you because you have it way better than we do. We're the Marine Corps, so we get like secondhand pencils. Like, here, the Army used this. Go run with it.
I know. You know, our chow halls, you go into one of our chow halls and it's like, okay, do I go over here to where they make the hamburgers and the sandwiches, or do I go over here where they make you the gourmet meals, or do I go over here and, make my own sandwich in their little self-serve? I mean, like, gosh, it's like a food oasis, man. It's like food heaven walking into a chow hall in the Air Force. I always love that.
I'm going to need therapy again now. So, bringing up points of my life. I mean, I remember the first time we ever went in. I'm sure everybody who's listening here, they're probably like, oh God, they're killing us with their war stories. But this is what we do.
Right, yeah.
I sat in one of your guys' chow halls and somebody came and took my tray when I was done. I was like, what? Like, I mean, in the Corps, we got to take our tray everywhere with us. And the Air Force is the same way. They're not the Air Force. The Army is the same way. In fact, the Army is so, no offense, Army, we love you, but they salute indoors. Marines do not. It's just two branches do two different things. And I remember being in one of their chow halls and we don't wear our covers inside. Neither do you guys in the Air Force. You guys take your covers off when you go inside.
Yes.
Which you're supposed to. Sorry, Army. It's always weird. The Army wears their covers inside. I'm like, you guys are doing this wrong. Anyways, we get it right. Even the Navy does it right. Of course, they're part of us. But this guy came up to me, started yelling at all of us, and we're like, dude, we're in the Corps. Like, we're not trained to salute it. Like, we've never been trained to salute indoors. Like, if I remember in boot camp watching a guy try to salute someone indoors, that's a whole other story. That's not safe for TV, but I could tell you.
Didn't go well, to say the least.
It didn't go well for him. Oh, hold on. Oh, you have an easy request. It doesn't require you to sing. It is, you need to say hello to Gene Clinton.
Hello, Gene Clinton. Thank you very, very much for coming to join us. That's awesome.
I love that request. That one's easy. Doesn't require Phil to sing. It's simple. It's just and somebody asked what I'm drinking. This is coffee. I don't do the other thing. So I have coffee and water on my desk if anybody wants to know.
Water too.
Yeah, I'm just high on life. Like I always tell people, my kids always ask me how I wake up fired up every day. And my answer to anyone out there is I wake up, I'm blessed. I get another fresh 24 on the clock, another 24 hours to live my life, enjoy my children. My kids are getting older. I know a lot of people probably have kids in the house or out of the house. So for me as a dad, I'm blessed. My youngest is 13. And this quarantine, as bad as it's been, we've actually enjoyed the time with the four of us because we know when they leave and go to school, they're gonzo. And I mean, I see it with my parents. So it's the same thing. I mean, I live 20 minutes from my mom's house, because I'm a mama's boy. So, but I mean, it's different. So I always tell people I may be lively or kind of bouncy, but that's just because I love what I'm doing. And I love talking. I mean, I love talking to veterans. Anybody who watches our show. And this week I've been blessed. I've talked to 3 of you. I talked to an amazing Marine, retired law enforcement, Eddie Clark. He's now turned comedian. What is with you guys in law enforcement? You guys get out and either become comedians, actors, or singers, or all 3. If you do comedy, I'm done. I'm going to get up and leave. If you tell me a joke right now,
you mentioned that. I'm working on a stand-up routine. Okay, for example, what if Jason Statham, action star Jason Statham, was a traffic cop? I would picture one of his stops to go something like this. May I see your driver's license, please? The reason I stopped you, you were speeding and you were driving recklessly. If you do it again, we're going to have a serious problem.
I love this. This is great. And I was innocently going down to just make fun of a Marine right now who was like, because I put everybody's lower thirds together, right? And I did yours at the same time as I was doing Eddie's, and I'm putting them together, and I'm like, okay, I always will put military service first. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a Marine. I honor my brothers and sisters whenever I can. I think we're amazing human beings. We do amazing things. And, I love our vets in our country, and anybody who supports our vets. I mean, so it's important. So my team knows as I'm like putting this together, I'm like, okay, Phil, retired Air Force, check. Retired police, check. Actor, check. Singer, yeah. I'm like, is he anything else? Did I miss professional chef? And I'm laughing because I was same thing for Eddie. I was just laughing because I was like, Eddie Clark, Marine, check. Retired police officer. I'm like, and comic. I'm like, When do we get out when it's like we need new hobbies because, protecting our freedom isn't enough, and then protecting our freedom at home isn't enough. Now I'm going to go tell jokes, stand in front of a camera, and kind of have fun when we do it. So it's awesome that I love your Jason. It's very accurate too. So you have any cool projects that you're getting ready to work on? I know they're starting to try to bring the film industry back as things open up. So are you hoping to be working on any cool projects that you can hint about?
No, not right now that I can talk about. Because it's hard right now because a lot of the industry is still, probably July is when some of them are talking about. And when they do open up, there's going to be a lot of, like most places, not just the film industry, but a lot of places, there's going to be a lot of precautions and safety things put into place, as far as, which is totally understandable. And that's good because we don't want to go backwards. So I guess some things working on, not that I can mention right now, but it's we'll see what happens. I got a lot of high hopes, and I'm working really hard.
I love it. We got to introduce you to the folks over at Laughter Saves Lives. They are retired firefighter, runs it. He was part of Hazmat One, and he's retired NYFD. Lost, I believe, 19 members of his team on 9/11. So we learned about. He was on our show on Monday, as well as a Secret Service agent, Samantha Horowitz. She was on our show, and she was she told this story. And I don't want to be depressing because we're going to do a shout out here in a second to somebody, but I want to share this with you. You're a vet, so I figure I'll share. And anybody wants to go back and watch, it's on our YouTube channel again while we're here. Subscribe to our channel, but go check it out. Samantha told this story. She was in an elevator in the North Tower at 8:53 a.m. on September 11th when Flight 111 slammed into the building. And she told this story where I'm sitting here I am an interviewer, and you all have seen for the last hour, I'm pretty high energy. She told the story where she's like, we're in the elevator, all of a sudden it shakes, and we drop like a couple floors. And then she's like, within 5 seconds, we shot up like 75 stories, like that. And I'm like, okay, spooky, scary, not feeling good on this story. And then she says she felt this hot wind blast of dust. And then they stopped, and the whole elevator was vibrating and doing all this. And they opened the door, and they found this available stairwell. They were lucky, and took all these people down. And she said it so like, it just made me appreciate what we all do for our job and our sacrifice when it comes to folks like you who are on singing. The first thing I see, besides hearing your voice, is that you always, most of the time, are rocking something patriotic, which I love. You usually have your Air Force hat on. You don't today, but I know when you're sitting on your porch, you usually have it on. Yeah. And you're retired law enforcement. All things in our country that should be remembered. I know there's so much negative in our country right now when it comes to law enforcement, but not all cops are bad. I mean, in fact, as I always tell people, good cops hate bad cops. So seeing somebody like you shines a very bright spot on some dark days that we've been going through. And your voice, man, I just want to thank you for being one of those rays of light and being a brother veteran and everything you do, and the fact that you also served when you came back, and sacrificing what you probably could have got out of I almost put you in the Army, in the Air Force. See, it's an A word again, Marines and vocabulary.
It's okay.
It's like counting. I know this is 10. You guys are lucky because I have 10 of these. That's how I know 10. No, just kidding. I know to count to 20. I have 5 but it's one of those things. But I just want to thank you, man, because it does mean a lot. And I know, we've never met in person, but I've been following you, especially you're on with Scott and Suki a lot. That's where I learned about you. And I just love how you bring, it's good to have somebody that you look forward to on social media, because I can't get off social. My job does not allow it. I mean, right. I need to be on social to see what goes on in the world. So it's nice to stroll through so much bad and go, what is Phil singing today? I just need to hear it. And it's just like you kind of stop and you listen. And it might be 5 minutes. I just want to thank you, man, because it makes a difference to those of us who are doing it. And clearly everybody on agrees with me. But before we go, somebody asked, and I love when people make easy requests. Somebody wants you. I don't know. Could you see the comments on your screen?
Yeah.
The name? Okay. There you go. Lynn Jerkhart Cervelli wants you to give a shout to Barb. So give her a shout out.
Hi, Lynn. Thanks for joining us. Really, really appreciate you coming to hang out with us today. And, your sister, Barb Cervelli. Hi, Barb. Just want to say hi. And I wish you could join us if for whatever reason you're not here. If you are here, hi. But anyway, yep, big shout out to Barb Cervelli. How you doing?
I love it, man. That's awesome. So I don't want to take up any more of your time. I want to thank you for joining us on To The Point. You are always welcome here, my friend. Hearing about what you did at the Air Force was awesome. Thank you for also backing the badge. It's awesome that you've, stand there and do that. Do you have any family that's in law enforcement? I meant to ask you that earlier. Are you the only one that pursued that? Or do you have
when my brother got out of the Marines, he was a police officer for several years. My brother-in-law, he also served. He went in the academy a year after me. I retired, and he's still got a couple of years to go, I think. So I got a cousin, a nephew. I got a lot of family in law enforcement. I really do.
Sure.
And
Is it your birthday?
No, I was gonna address that. For some reason, I've been getting a lot of birthday wishes.
Yeah.
I don't know where that information came from, but it's not my birthday. My birthday's August 26th. So I don't. But everyone who did wish me happy birthday today, thank you. I'll take it as an early,
It's an early gift.
Yeah, an early gift. Thank you. But yeah, today is not my birthday. I don't know.
Okay. Our birthdays are almost a month apart. I'm September 28th, so it's funny that you're 6 days after my daughter. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, all these birthdays. People are like, we don't care when your birthday is. So I'm just piggybacking on it. But last thing before you go, I've been asked for you to sing after we say goodbye. You sing as you go. If you have a song on top, it could be one of your own. We have no preference. It's your choice.
Let's see. Let's do. Let's see. Let's do. Hey, I'll tell you who I like. Neil McCoy. I don't know if you know who Neil McCoy is, but he's one of my favorite artists. Good Texas boy, and I listen to all his stuff. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a Neil Billy. He calls his fans Neil Billies. I'm a Neil Billy.
I like it.
So yeah, I'll sing out with some Neil McCoy.
Awesome. So we'll close the show. I'll say goodbye to you, and then when you're done singing, we'll fade you off into the sunset like a proper hat tip and a good cowboy, right? You're in Oklahoma. I just automatically have country in my head. Although I have you as like Clint Eastwood in a spaghetti western, so go figure. That's where we're at. Too many years of Good, the Bad, the Ugly. One of my favorites. But everybody, I want to thank Phil for joining us today. I want to thank all of you who have tuned. I'm messing English up today. Tuned in today. We thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing and liking our channel. It means so much to us. Please tune in. We have great guests tomorrow. Tune into your show. If this is the first time you're watching us because you're here because Phil's here, please tune in. We have great guests from everywhere. We've had Montel Williams on the show this week. We have great guests coming up next week. We have a member from the Shark Tank, which is on TV. So we have a member, one of the original cast members from the Shark Tank joining us next week. And of course, incredible veterans are always on our show. So tune in if you have law enforcement, veterans, entertainment. We cover it all from our point of view, which is fun. So anyways, that's what I want. Phil, take it away. Thank you for joining us today, bud. And you're always welcome back.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks.
Somebody's at the front door. I can hear them knocking. Your mama's on the phone and she feels like talking. There's chicken on the barbecuing. Don't worry about it, baby. Just drop what you're doing, 'cause they're playing our song on the radio. Okay, Mr. DJ, that a way to go. 1,000,000 watts of love power coming on strong. Dance with me, baby. They're playing our song. Thanks, everybody.
Outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Paz. That was outstanding. We love Phil being on our show. We want to thank you guys again for tuning in today on behalf of our entire team here at To The Point. It means a lot for us to check in. And one last time, if you haven't done it yet, head over to our YouTube channel, To The Point with Eric Mitchell, and click that subscribe button so you can catch this episode when we drop it in there, so you could catch it whenever you want to listen to it, and catch any of our other amazing shows with our other amazing guests, and when Phil comes back on the show. That way you know. So subscribe, like our page. Again, thank you all so much. And from all of us, we thank you. Again, I'm Eric Mitchell. Be safe, be strong, be smart, and God bless America.